All right. This is, I think, just the way I found this, so I'm confident that this is probably a. Well, I shouldn't be confident about anything. I was going to say that this is probably a match set, but the blade's in pretty rough shape. Made in the USA, of course it is. Tempered. This is a good old Pratt. Actually marked right there, good old Pratt. So this is a really early one. Unfortunately, the condition is really, really rough. I don't know if it's focusing or not, but right there, it's good old Pratt. So the head and the bevel beats the heck out of me. No markings on the centering head. And if there are any markings on this bevel protractor, they are obscured by rust. You probably end up just blowing this out just the way it is. Rust and all. Yeah, that's an early one though. It's been around. Radius gauge set. I don't know what model that is. 40 something. I don't know, and I don't really care. It's Craftsman. What is nice about it though is I'm not going to bother even checking to see if it's 100% complete, but it's got the little holder handle is still present, and they're actually not in horrible shape. I think they might be stainless. A little thing tore off there, you know, the snap. But yeah, cheap radius gauge set for somebody. Brown and Sharpe caliper box, right? And that's what's in here. Wow. I'm saying wow because I'm just feeling how these feel. I'll tell you, I mean, I know people like Starrett, but these things are old as dirt, and they just feel so nice and smooth compared to those Starretts, even the new ones. Sorry, you know, but just goes to show you. This is a 579/1 Swiss made, so these are probably Tessa. A little bit of cleaning. You know, I wouldn't even bother sending these out. They're ready to go. Faux show. Oh yeah, I like those. That box will probably clean up a little bit more than that. There's another thing that I don't want to look at too closely. You know, everything about it. I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm thinking it's an Albrecht. Jaws look sweet. It's got this heavy patina on it, so it's been around. And it's got some rust on it. But I tell you what, that's exactly what that is. It's an Albrecht 0 to 3/8, Germany. That is a nice keyless chuck right there. Might not look it, but it is. Unfortunately, it's a lone Vblock. Some cutters. Very thin kerf cutters. I mean, at what point do you stop calling them slitting saws? How wide does this have to get before it's no longer a slitting saw? Right? And that's actually, I don't even know if that's steel. It might be. It must be, right? This whole National Twist Drill and Tool Company. 1 metal slitting saw. Side teeth. 3 by 3/32. Well, there you go. So that's 3/32, and it's still called a slitting saw. It's funny. The box, the envelope says it's 1, but this is a whole little menagerie of them. I think I picked these in the various drawers and I just put them all together. Standard tool. All right. So nothing wrong with that. Yes, the Vblock. And again, another one of these things that's like, oh God, please tell me that's what I think it is. So I don't know. It's clearly marked with a number 43 on the bottom right here, but I can't find any markings on it anywhere else. Well, I can just barely make out USA. I can't quite see what it is, but I mean, if I look up that number, 41 that number Vblock, Google that, 43 V-block, I'm sure I'll be able to figure out what it is. I think it might be a Starrett. It's either Starrett, Brown and Sharpe, or Lufkin. Actually, now that I think of it, I bet you it's a Lufkin. I don't know if I'm ever going to know what this V-block is. That number on the bottom is pretty useless. I looked at it under magnification. I tried even taking pictures of it and blowing it up, and the image is such a ghost. Unfortunately, it seems like where the manufacturer's name might be right where this bad rust stain is, right there. So I'm pretty confident I can see an L. I just can't tell if it's the L for Lufkin. I can make out Made in USA, and I can make out what appears to be a 906. Now that's interesting because this pair of V-blocks right here that are clearly Lufkin are 905s, which are pretty common. These, by the way, trade anywhere from 40 to 65 bucks. In the past, they've sold for that on eBay. You know, 40 bucks gets you like a pair of blocks with one clamp, and 65 gets you a pair of blocks with clamps pristine. So, you know, decent little set of blocks there. But I've tried searching for Lufkin 906 to see if I could find a, you know, if Lufkin made a V-block called the Model 906. I mean, it looks a lot like the, I think Brown and Sharpe and Starrett both had their own versions of this style they ripped off. The other thing I didn't notice when I was looking at it at first is there's damage. There's a divot there and a divot there. I don't know what somebody did, but they hit it or something, so it's not perfect. But, you know, I'm into it for very little, I think, so I'm not going to worry about it. And last but not least are the indicators from this pick. So initially when I got there, some of these indicators I found in drawers that I don't even think he realized were really in there. Nothing to get too excited about in here. This one he had stuff laid out when I got there on a table, and this was laid out and open like this. And I thought, oh, okay, he's going to put a premium value on that. But as luck would have it, in the end, I ended up lumping this in with everything else, and you know, he went for my deals. So I don't think I'm into this for as much money as I was worried about being into it for. This is a Federal Test Master, okay? Not to be confused with a TASA test or a BEST test. This is Federal's contribution to the DTI community, and these were, from my understanding, is that these were kind of hit or miss as far as quality goes. That being said, I've never seen one like this. So this is a DTI, okay, but look at, you know, it's got this the body shape of the typical Federal Test Master, or, you know, Best Test, that style, but I've never seen one with a 2-inch face. So that is kind of neat. And the other good thing about it is it's perfect. It works perfectly. This has got the design where it doesn't matter if I push down or if I push up, it deflects in the same direction, which is kind of neat. And this is a tenths indicator, a 0.0001 resolution DTI in its original case. And what do we have in here? We have a couple of accessories that probably belong in here. Yeah, that clamp right there, dovetail clamp. Don't know what the story is. This is just a little bar somebody turned. And this is a little, look at that, that's a little screw-on lever. Like maybe for, oh, that's funny. I just happen to have, still sitting here on the bench, I have these little old die heads that I scored. Not quite, too small. Anyways, that's what that is. That doesn't really belong in there either. And then there's this more generic, I think, style of dovetail clamp, but we'll keep that in there too. So anyways, that's actually a pretty nice indicator. The other thing about this one is, I might even reach out to Mark at MR Tool and ask him, because I've never seen one of these marked made in England. So I'm wondering who may have made this for Federal. Well, I just spent a good 15 minutes at least running down a rabbit hole trying to figure out exactly what the story is on this thing. I can't find any federal indicators made in England, and I can't find any information on like Long Island Indicators got a section there where they talk about, you know, all the different manufacturers and that, and they say like the early federal gauge company DTIs were junk, but they said the late Testmaster ones were made by Tessa in Switzerland and are as good as supposedly the best test. But this one clearly says made in England. So I just don't know. It has a part number on there on the face. The only markings on it are LT82. Actually, is that an LTB2? No, that's clearly an LT82. The LT2 is a fairly common regular, you know, federal indicator with the regular size dial. So this is something unique. So good luck to me figuring out exactly what to be asking for this thing. Probably should be putting it in my collection, but I don't know, we'll see. Interrapid. Unfortunately, I had already shipped everything out that I was sending out for repair. I had a couple of Interrapids that needed attention. Most of them, I think, actually worked. They just needed new crystals. This one is completely missing the crystal, but actually still works. And this is a .0005. So this is a half thousandths indicator. And it is a bidirectional and it has a subdial. And it's actually clocked perfectly. So the bezel does not look damaged, so it should take a new crystal. The dovetails look good. You know, it's been around, no doubt about it. This is a 310B2 by the looks of it. That'll make a really nice indicator though, once it's got a little bit of love. Let's see what else we got in here. I think most of the rest of the stuff in here is drop indicators. Oh, look at this. We got another one of these. Oh, this might be the size that's missing on that other one. Nope, different thread. Pretty sure. Yep. Oh, so close. Oh well. Acrament. How about that one? Acrament. A-C-R-A hyphen ment. M-E-N-T. This is an Acrament. Oh, this is a half thousandths indicator, .0005, with a subdial. This is an Acrament 207-3. Huh. What we got here? This has got like all the paint peeling off the back of this. That's weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen on an indicator. This is a Dorsey gauge company. I've seen these before. Hyde Park, New York. I forgot what company ended up absorbing this company, or this company absorbed another company. I remember doing the research on that once before. This is interesting. The screw is just hanging out the back here. So should probably take this back off, get that screw out of there so it doesn't fall in or cause a problem interfering with the rack. Clean this back off and probably just end up selling it as a indicator somebody can use by clamping here. Here's an Ames that really needs a new crystal. Here's a Dorsey that's broken. The needle is bent down, and even if I manhandle it and get the needle to come back, oh, actually, look at that. That actually probably could be repaired, but I mean, is it worth it? I know minimum if I send this out, minimum 35, 40 bucks to fix it. It's too bad too, because the .0001, it's a tenths indicator. Here's a Boyce, B-O-I-C-E, Hyde Park, New York. Interesting. That's a tenths indicator. That's got some, unfortunately it's kind of hard to see it because of the crystal being so foggy. Let me just see if I can just wipe it off real quick. Yeah, we can see this one better now. Well, see that acromate actually cleaned up pretty nice. Yeah. No need to put big money in that one. Big money. What did I say, 35 or 40 bucks? It's all relative, right? And if I pay 40 bucks to have that cleaned and have a new crystal put in it, right? If I want to make 10 bucks, I got to get $50 for that. Oh, this is cool. Look what we got here. After a little bit of cleanup, USAF. This has a pedigree of U.S. Air Force. It has an interesting little red ghost-like area there. That's intriguing. What else we got in here? There's another Boyce, Hyde Park, New York. And again, cleaned up pretty nice. This is a half thousandths. .0005. Oops. Guess that cap was pretty loose, huh? Another one. No. Nothing on the back. Here's another Dorsey. Only this one's not broken. Look at that. It's got a plus and a minus sticker on the face. That's under the crystal. That's kind of weird. And another one. And another one. Note the numbers on this one. It's a half thousandths with 50 thousandths range. Huh. Standard Gauge Company. This is a weird little sucker here. I spotted this when I was there and I was like, oh, don't have one of these. So check this little sucker out. Its body is shaped kind of like a DTI. It's got a dovetail like a DTI. But the design is like a drop indicator. In other words, well, I think it's broken, unfortunately. But what's supposed to happen is you push this plunger in. So that's sick. Standard Gauge Company of Poughkeepsie, New York, USA. I've never seen one of these. And there's another one. This one is missing the face, and ironically, it works perfectly. So this has a sub-dial. I don't know if you could see it, almost like a, what do they call that on watches? Complications? It's almost got like another complication there. You know, like on watches that have mechanical movements that have, like, you know, the day of the year, the month of the year, phase of the moon, all of that, indicated by a separate dial. Those are all complications. That was kind of a funny name. This is a tenth indicator, 0.0001. This is a kind of a neat little indicator. I hate the idea that this is missing, because the dial is so clean and it's missing the crystal. Whereas this one's got the crystal on it, but it's broken. Son of a gun. Alright, the last item we got here in the box is this little dial that I picked up. And anybody know what the heck that is? I thought maybe it was off a Travadial. I don't know. But I know, like, when you go online, if you want to try and find one, if you're missing a knob for your Travadial and you want to try and find one, it ends up costing you a fortune. Let's get a 1/16 fraction. Oh, I'm sorry, 1/10. You got a 1/10 fraction in the middle there. So I'm assuming that means each revolution is 1/10 of an inch, maybe. I don't know. Oh, I forgot about a couple more things I wanted to show you, but before I close out this episode, I wanted to just do a quick recap on this pick as far as the items that were kind of mystery items. So I still was never able to find out any information on this really cool Federal DTI. I actually was describing this to Mark over at MR Tool, so I think I'm going to probably just post a picture of it up on his site because it's certainly interesting, and it's in really, really great shape. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it. As far as this V-block goes, yeah, the mystery is going to remain. I just can't see enough of what's left on there to figure out anything about it other than to be confident that it is made in the USA. And this does appear to be the correct original clamp. I notice on all the Starrett ones that I've seen of this version, first of all, the Starretts are almost always clearly marked. And second of all, the Starretts have a typically another threaded hole, so you can change the location of this tightening screw. So that being said, you know, oh well. So much for that. This was a nice surprise. I was able to find out and verify that this is in fact what I initially thought it was. It is a travadial knob. To make matters even better for me, there isn't one of these for sale on eBay right now, and there hasn't been one that's sold recently. So this might actually be a quite sought after part by somebody who has a travadial missing a knob. Irony being that I had a travadial a little while back that I sold that was missing the knob. It had other issues anyways, but it would have been nice if I had still had that thing and could have added the knob to it. It would have even increased the value more. That being said, trying to find a value on a used travadial knob, the closest thing I could find was I found a website that has some travadial parts, and they have what appears to be a new knob for the newest version, so it looks a little bit different. But they want like $66 for that replacement knob. I think they are literally making that knob special, custom for people that have travadials. So anyways, there's that. And then last, these two little indicators, in case I didn't already mention, I can't remember if I did or not, but these two indicators, these unusual standard gauge indicators, are in fact more than likely they came out of dial bore gauges, small hole gauges. So that's why they've got this unique shape. The interesting thing is this bar is probably part of the original dial bore gauge it came out of, but it would be simple enough to actually take that off and reveal that it has underneath it a pretty much standard dovetail, so it could be used for other applications. And again, one of them works. This one that doesn't have the problem with the crystal falling off works, and this one works perfect, but the crystal is falling off. But probably not going to be worth it for me to have anything done about that, because I know to have it correctly done, cleaned up, new crystal installed, is probably going to be anywhere from $30 to $40. And so I just put the two of these up for sale, the working one and the non-working one with the crystal falling out. I think I've got like $20 on the pair, and no bites so far, so we'll see. All right, so let me show you one of the items I got for free that literally was, we just grabbed a couple of things for me to put all the stuff I bought into. So all this stuff was in a storage unit, and I asked him if he had any extra boxes I could use to carry the stuff in, and we were looking around for boxes, and he said, hey, you know what, how about this? He said, it's actually kind of neat, and he didn't mind giving it to me for free, and what it is somebody made some sort of a stand for a machinist toolbox. So the way it works is toolbox sits up top here, and then there's storage underneath here like a shelf, and then there's a little drawer that slides out, and then it has this door that actually has a piece of metal that locks into a groove, and then this pushes down, and then there was just a some sort of a metal pin or something, I think. Oh, I remember what it was. There was a piece he couldn't find, and he felt really bad about not being able to find it because he thought it was kind of neat. There was a metal pin with a piece of flat stock attached to it with a hole in it so that you could slide the pin in here, and then put a padlock in here, effectively keeping anybody from being able to do this, so that anything in here would be secure. So I got that for free. I mean, that's kind of neat. 21 inches on the nose. I wonder if the small Kennedy will fit in that slot. Well, you know what? The smallest Kennedy I have is 20.5 inches or so, or just under 20.5 inches wide. So it'll actually fit on there with a little bit of room to spare, not much. So when I decide to finally either use that Kennedy or sell that Kennedy, I could pair it with this thing. So that'll be nice. So I spotted this in one of the boxes that had some other stuff in it, some non-machinist stuff. And I asked him, I said, hey, what are you going to do with that? And he says, oh, you want it? I said, yeah. So I explained to him that what this is this is a draw for a machinist's, oak machinist's chest. And it could very well be a Gerstner. It's got the look of a Gerstner to it. It's got the green felt inside, metal bottom. It's got an issue here with the side, but I have the piece, was with it. So all that needs to have done is for that to be re-glued. Okay, that wood might be a little swollen, so I'm not going to force it right now, but it's not busted out, you see? That side piece is intact. So that's an easy enough repair. So I asked him if he sold on eBay, because I explained to him, I said, this is the kind of thing that, you know, if you put it on eBay, it'll probably take a while for it to sell, because you're going to have to wait until somebody comes along and happens to see that, you know, the Gerstner they have, which is missing a draw or has a draw that's completely busted, needs this particular draw. But that being said, you know, once they find it, I could probably get a few bucks for this thing. I even found somebody who had recently sold just these pulls, these original pulls, for, I forgot how much, but it was a pleasant surprise how much they got just for those pulls. I mean, I could take the pulls off and trash the whole thing and just sell the pulls and be ahead since I got this for free. Because he didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll take it. So, happy birthday to me. I was able to get that side back on, no problem. So, just needs to be re-glued, and it'll be good to go for somebody. Now, in case anybody was wondering, this is exactly 25 inches wide, which makes it exactly the same size as some of the draws in my larger Gerstner box. So I bet you this is from an 11 or a 13 draw Gerstner. Hey guys, so how do you like that? I started this video needing a haircut, and now I've got one. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. We've got some more Flea Market Finds episodes coming up. We've got some more GT17 Arians Tractor episodes coming up. We've got the Yerf Dog episodes coming up. And that's what's in the hopper right now, pretty much. But we've actually been able to move some stuff around, make some room in the shop. We might start moving some equipment down here and start playing around with that. And, you know, who knows? Spring is like right around the corner. It's amazing how fast this winter passed by for me. So, once again, I hope you enjoy the channel and enjoy the content. And please consider subscribing. And if you like what you see, hit the like button. Take care.